Welcome to Subramani. A few requests from friends or viewers about what questions to ask before a second marriage. Right? I may have done videos in the past of what to look for in a financial partner, maybe long ago. I don't remember doing it recently. But a second marriage is a bigger challenge, and I'm going to talk to you about 2-3 categories of second marriage. I'm assuming that a husband and wife will be more or less same age, or given say 2-3 years this side or that side. So when I say 32-year-old, I mean it could be a guy, it could be a female. So that part. So first question is, at what age are you getting remarried? Suppose you're getting married and you're a woman and you're getting married at 32. Let's say you have one kid. You're getting married to a guy who has got another kid, and the first question to ask is, are you going to have more children, right? That's a question which does not arise when you're 50 or 55 and you're getting married. The chances of you having another kid or even adopting another kid is more or less out. But the first question to ask is, how are the children going to be brought up? What are you going to tell the children? How are they going to be living in the same house? What is going to be their feeling towards each other? Technically they are brother and sister, but they may not have brother sister feeling or brother feeling. They may not take to each other very happily, very kindly. You need to sort out that question. The question that I am going to ask are very different. I am not worried about how you are going to handle, how much you love that new person, what hobbies you have in common, etc., etc. Those are questions which you must ask, which perhaps a marriage therapist or a pre-marital therapist could help you with. I can't. I can guess, but I really can't or shouldn't. I am going to ask you about those financial questions and have you asked them. So if you are a rich man marrying a woman who's perhaps not as rich, consider having a prenup agreement so that in case something goes wrong in this marriage, you don't lose all the assets that you have, but only those assets which have been created during this marriage. So be ready that if something goes wrong, you are not stripped of your assets. So a prenup agreement can help. Second, it is difficult to find out how much the other person is earning if that person is self-employed or is a practicing chartered accountant or lawyer or something like that. Then you can't estimate how much that person is earning. But if that person is employed in a company, it's not very difficult to find out how much that person is earning. It's not even as important as to how much that person is earning. The question is, how much is that person spending? I know a boy and a girl. It was the first marriage where they got married. Both of them were earning about a lakh of rupees each per month take home. And that girl was very, I would say rudely shocked to see that the guy was earning 1 lakh and spending 1 lakh. She was earning 1 lakh and saving 90,000. So your spending habits and saving habits, investing habits could be very different and could be very shocking. Another problem with a second marriage is especially if there's been a divorce, the first marriage, or even in case of if a woman has lost her husband, the mistakes of the first husband could remain fresh in your mind, and you might lose all the good things that the person did. For example, I know this man who was a very good investor. He's created a fantastic portfolio for his wife, now his ex-wife. So to think that your second husband would also be good in investing is wrong. The first husband had created a fantastic portfolio. He was a little loose in character, then that's what broke up the marriage. I'm not getting into all that, but he did create a fantastic portfolio. So will this second second spouse have all those characteristics? Do you need it? Can you do it on your own? Right? That's also a very important question. How are you going to leave the assets from the previous marriage? Now, if both of you are about 55 years of age, chances are all your wealth creating activities are more or less over. You're not going to add much to the wealth which you have already created. But if you are 32 years of age, then there's a chance that you have some wealth already. You're going to create some fresh wealth, and your old wealth is also going to grow. So how are you going to share the growth in the old assets? Suppose a 32-year-old girl today gets married and dies at the age of 92. You're talking of 60 years compounding. How are you going to handle this? These are questions which are important to talk about. It is very, very important that you make a will saying all this goes to my children of the first marriage. Especially if you, let's say you have a son and a daughter from the first marriage, and you have a lot of jewelry of your wife from the first marriage. You don't want the jewelry to go to your second wife. You don't want it to go to the children of the second wife, or to the maybe you're going to have more children. So that all these things have to be very carefully done. Normally I say you need to make a will only for your real estate, but in case of a remarriage, it is important that all the jewelry be written down, quantified, and given to the children of the first marriage. You don't want to mix the two, right? How will your in-laws react to the wealth which has been your wife's wealth? So this case of a 32-year-old man losing his wife, he had a lot of wealth coming from the first wife, her premarital wealth, right? Not what she earned. Of course she earned, but she also had got a lot of gifts from her father, and which was there lying in her portfolio. He was very embarrassed he couldn't even realize how to handle all that. Then all that was given away to the grandchildren and to her parents, because they may have wanted it or didn't want it. He was not very clear, but he returned a lot of those things, saying, oh, this is from my children, or my children were too young, so he had to conjure up some reasons to give it back. So find out about that. Of course, as you get older, you also want to see how much of how prepared the other person is towards medical emergencies, towards his own attitude towards investing, creating wealth, own retirement, right? You need to find some formulae and say, look, I've got my financial advisor has told me I need 7 crores for retirement, and I have that, so I can retire today. What is your situation? Difficult to ask maybe, but this is some way to find out the size of his balance sheet, and so that you also know where you stand and where he stands. So some things you can't really anticipate, right? You don't know whether this guy whom you're marrying will fall sick, or whether you will have to do a lot of nursing work. It could be reversed also, that I know a case of a divorce where she developed some major illness, and he stood by her because of the love for the kids, and he stood by, funded, looked after, picked up from hospital, dropped back in hospital. He did all the duties which a husband would have done, because if she had got that illness when during marriage, he would have done it. So he actually did it even after marriage, after the divorce, and he had not yet got married. Now suppose he had got married and moved to a different town, would he have come back? Would he have done that? So knowing what is your attitude towards sex, towards life, towards entertainment, all this is very important, because you will always assume that he will be like what my previous husband was. And it could be wrong. He could, your previous husband could have been a drinker, and this guy could be not a big drinker. Your previous husband could have been a smoker. This guy may not be a smoker. Your previous husband could have been a fitness freak, so you were not at all worried about his medical insurance. But your new guy, you can't really, but you should have access to his medical and physical wellness report, right? So some kind of a balance sheet, some kind of a P&L. I don't know how you can do it, but having access to it is helpful. Knowing what medical cover he has from his company and what you have from your company is important. how are you going to deal with your parents, right? So he may have parents, you may have parents, he may have lost parents, you may have parents. So the question is, if a parent falls ill, what is your how are you going to handle it? If you have siblings, how are you going to handle it? If a sibling comes and asks for a loan, are you going to give it? Are you not going to give it? Right? So all those things have to be sorted out. It is easy to walk into a marriage and say, oh, this basics I didn't ask. It could have happened when you were 21 years of age. Both of you did not even have a balance sheet, so you didn't have to discuss the balance sheet, but both of you knew that you were both qualified, both were doctors, both were chartered accountants, or one was a chartered accountant, one was an MBA working in a company. So you knew how much you were earning, what you were going to spend. You spent a lot of time courting time was there, so you knew what was his food habits, what were your food habits, veg, non-veg, drinking, smoking, all that you had time to find out. In a second marriage, you really don't have too much time. You have to go by what is given in their biodata, what they tell about you, how much you are willing to ask. Right? So don't just get into it. Getting into a marriage blindly does not make any sense. Whether it is your first, second, third marriage, doesn't really matter. So ask some of these questions. I'm sure if you think it is necessary to seek counseling, maybe you should seek counseling. Maybe you should just write down these questions wherever it pops up in your head, right? So all these attitude towards your children, attitude towards his children, attitude towards if you are going to have more children, attitude towards parents. Will parents live in a senior citizen home? Will they live with you? Will they live near you? All these are questions which are important to ask. And in a second marriage, you're more likely to be calm and willing to discuss these topics. So if you don't know how to ask him these questions or ask her these questions, it's a nice thing to say, oh, this Subra has made this video, so let us have a look at it, or send it to him or send it to her, whatever, and could be a starting point for discussion. But don't get married without all these discussions. Thank you.